one!
He's got no head!
Most of it a bump.
Not fortune found, nor fate divine, come close to chopping the juice of the vine. Cherry crew, we sip and sway, let's tip the ticket and waste the day.
Boy! Stop that singing!
The Absolution Council's tomorrow.
Don't get your hopes up, Ed.
Jonathan is on the council this time, and he's an Aarakocra. If anyone's gonna free us, it's him.
Not gonna happen.
I wish you could be more positive.
I tried that once. Not for me.
You'll see. Today is your last day of chopping ice. Why do they make us chop all this ice? Do you ever think about that?
Sometimes.
Do they do something with it after we chop it?
Not sure.
Yeah. Tell me to ask. Tobias, darling. May I ask you a question?
Head down, keep chopping.
There he goes.
Back to work, you sight!
Tobias is in a mood today. Forge is the Lord of Neverwinter?
How did that clown pull that off?
As long as he's got Kira, I don't care. Come on. Let's go. Thanks, pal. What's wrong with my lips?
They're too big for your face.
What? A lot of people like my lips.
What people?
They're out there.
Do they like your eyebrows, too?
What's wrong with my eyebrows?
Oi, they're marks. You're from the elk tribe.
Don't concern yourself.
Hang on. Isn't that the lass that ran off with the Southlander?
The cast off.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'd cover up them marks if I were you. The elks wouldn't want you wearing them.
How about we clap 'em up for her?
They're not wrong.
The only way to succeed in this is to have confidence that it can be done. He doesn't.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. Are you eating ashes?
Yes, I'm a tiefling.
Huh.
Look.
Tam's hunger for power was absolute. He invited his fellow rulers, along with all of the residents of the capital, to a celebration. But it was a ruse. For when the revelers gathered, Tam unleashed the beckoning death. A spell so unholy it would consume the souls of all who beheld it, reducing them to a legion of undead. Saz's power is immense. I suspect he and his red wizards will not be content until they have infected the whole of Faerun with their maleficence.
Now, if we're talking about works of poetry, I'd have to include Rofarin's ballads, the Bright Wind elegies, the Twine of Vehais, Nodroff Rand's 16 sonnets, Reflections on a Wind-Bound Gauntlet. Now, in terms of stage plays, I'd be remiss not to include The Potter's Ground of Penelope, Numad Juki and the Beggar's Moon, any of Foland Gronkath's later works, The Temptations of Revis Pogue, Sunrise over Dabadoon, The Chambermaid's Predicament, Taemon Malkip's Needle, The Learning of the Encyclopedic Man, and o'er the speckled hills of Rassalanta. As far as travelogues, I reckon my favourites would be Hinch Finpin's 10 Tawdry Taverns and The Bonny Lakes of Silver Marches by Samson Basil. What else? Enduring Weathercote Forest. My Pilgrimage with Lofus McHardings. Volo's Guide to Spirits and Spectres, as well as his musings on extraplanar aberrations. There are a few other tomes I feel compelled to mention. The Anecdotal Follies of Vecna's Reach, The Pacing of Visceral Immediacy, Cradle Songs of Lolth's Adoration, The Ascension of Larkith, Grog Hovels, The Beard-Bound Book of Battle Hammer, Jocelyn's Frequency, The Occult Properties of Gemstones, The Trials of Barnaby Buckles, and Lancegrove's Travels. Now, if we're talking farce, I've chuckled quite heartily at Never Trust a Tortle. How wrong can one Sembian be? And The Odorous Cottage. And while I was never partial to Bleppy Hollister's Chaddy Handbook, there were excerpts that, I must admit, provoked a titter. In my younger years, I'd pore over the lascivious parables of Twobert Cherry, Lonra among the Loxo, The Wretched Life of Usadi and Uselmin, Uzi Gulibar and the Spine of the World, Rising a Buckard by Des Janser, The Magical Wonders of Netheril, Lizard Language and Common Tongue Grammar, Tome of the Unicorn, Triumph Exemplar, Primordials and their Servitors, From the Dawn Cataclysm to the End of All, Treasures of the Fire Lords, and The Origin Myths, a treatise. The fables my mother read to me as a child were quite arresting. The Featherless Owlbear, Stims Gripley, Lady Bormath and the 9 Gnomes, The Little Triton, and The Manticore King. Let me think. My most favored illuminated manuscripts would consist of King's Bury the Halpern, Dark Morello of Fireshare, the Lurkwood Chronicles, The Cloisters of Evil Rock, Wellham's Mithral Bridge, and The Nature of the Sahaugen. What else? I am also partial to a delicious romantic elegy. For example, The Learning of the Encyclopedic Man, Occurrence at Twistle Bridge, A Fortnight in a Halfpenny, A Trick House for Barnacle, and The Chaotic Clusters of Clanderboy. I believe those are all the books I've read.